Good morning, Mini Split Warehouse team. This video is going to be about gathering all the information you need to file a shipping claim. You'll note there are two different types of shipping claims, freight and ground, which only makes sense because those are the two ways that we ship things. So the first thing we're going to do when we want to collect up all the information is to create a new folder in the shipping claims area. You can see we have a claims folder over here under Dropbox. I have also pinned it to my quick access because I'm going there all the time. So you need to open this up, and when you do, you'll see whatever shipping claims are already open. And then up here, we'll have another template folder, just like we would if we were creating an order. Today, what we're going to use for an example is what Boss is calling the Tampa transfer, since JJ shipped us a damaged unit that we need to file a claim on. Technically speaking, when we're shipping stuff to Tampa, that is called a Tampa transfer. When JJ is shipping stuff from Tampa to us, that should actually be called a North Carolina transfer or a Roxborough transfer, whatever nomenclature you want to use. So the very first thing we're going to do is go up here like we would be just starting a new order. We're going to Control C, Control V, or right click to make a copy of it. Then we're going to go in and rename this folder with the order number and the name of the customer. Since this is a North Carolina transfer, we're going to use NCT, North Carolina transfer, and then the date that the transfer request was sent over by Boss, which in this case happens to be February 20th, 2025. Then we'll put our little dash and we'll just call it Roxborough Warehouse. Now, once we've done that, we're going to open up the folder, and you'll see instead of a PDF file for an order, we just have notes. Notes is where we're going to collect up the different pieces of information we're going to need when we're actually entering the claim. Now, Estes and Saya, Southeastern, they're all going to be a little bit different, but follow the same basic flow. And that is going to be the requirement of this information. We're going to need a vendor invoice, which is the invoice that whoever we bought it from sent us. That's not the one off a free web store. That would be coming from Comfort Side or Smart Electric, something like that. Whoever we bought it from that shows the price that we paid for the item. The second thing we're going to need is the signed BOL that you guys keep in the orders folder. Now, for post office and FedEx claims and stuff, we're not going to have that one. So, for ground shipping claims, you can just skip that. The third thing we're going to need is the Estes, or whoever the shipper was, their invoice showing how much they charged us for the shipment. Again, for a ground order, we can just skip this part because we're not going to need it. Ground orders, basically, they're going to need the vendor invoice and an explanation of the damages. Most of the time, they do not even require pictures. If they do, they will reply to the claim once it's been filed and ask for those pictures. So going on, and this is where part 4 comes in. We're going to need pictures of the damages. So this is the minimum 4 different things you will need to file a claim. So once we know that we need that information, we'll go open our notes. And this is, like I said, just for us to keep track of all the information we need to be able to file the claim. The transfer that JJ sent us had a damaged, I guess this is a Comfort Star. So we're going to make a list of the items like that. For freight claims, we're also going to need the amount the shipping cost us. So for this particular one, that's probably the only 2 that we need. I'm going to have to dig around a little bit and find the invoice for this. But just to give you an idea, if you go over here and look at one of the other shipping claims, let's do Bridget for instance, because we just filed that one. You'll see I've got all this information together. The vendor invoice, which came from Cooper and Hunter because she got a damaged three-piece wall bracket from them. You'll see their price is $42. That is the actual invoice from them, and I have renamed whatever. It gives you some random download name, so I've renamed that vendor invoice. I name it vendor invoice because when we get ready to file the claim, it just makes it easier to find. After that, you see we got the Estes invoice here showing how much we paid for the shipping. We've got the BOL, and again, this is for freight only. Since this went freight, but it was only a three-piece wall bracket that was damaged, we don't need to ship out an entire pallet for one wall bracket. So I had you guys run a shipping cost estimate for the single three-piece wall bracket, which we will include. When we're doing claims, we need to include the cost either for reshipping the item to the customer, or in the case that we're not going to reship it, say it was just a little scratch, a little ding, a little dent, something like that. That's not a major issue. Um, So, if it's an issue where we are not going to reship it, then we would include the original shipping from Estes. If we are going to reship it, then we're going to include the cost of reshipping it. Sometimes, depending on exactly what's going on, we'll include both of them because we want the max amount on the claim that we can possibly get. They're going to deny one or the other, but we could put both of them into the claim just to cover our ass. So before I forget, one of the other things we need to do is add the order number and the pro number up here at the top. So to do that, we'll go locate the original folder. It looks like JJ has it in Tampa pending orders, and he used a different order number than what we are. We're just going to stick with the order number that I put in earlier. NCT for North Carolina transfer, and then the date that it was sent over. And then we're going to add the pro number, which you can see is right here. Sometimes these get renamed by the pro number, sometimes they don't, but it's a PDF, so you can click on it and see it right there, whatever the case may be. So we throw that in there. And then the next thing we're going to need to do is locate the invoice for this piece here, the unit that was damaged. Easiest way to do that is to go in here to your email, click on your inbox, get the model number of that unit, throw it in the search bar there, make sure you're set to all folders, and if you go up here to filters, you're going to want to make sure you click attachments because we need to download the actual PDF invoice. That's going to be our vendor invoice. So we'll do a search on that. Of course, there's going to be a million things that pop up if the computer cooperates with us. Let's do a refresh. Alright, let's try that again. Put the model number in there, we put attachments, and we do search. And obviously it does not like that model number, so we'll try CIP 18. And so when your search finally finishes and comes up with the results, there's going to be a crap ton of them, of course. Anything you see from orders or sales, you can just pretty much ignore because that's not going to be the invoice. There's a slight chance it might be in there. What we want to do is locate the one from the vendor. Okay, so see right down here, we've got an invoice 02. We'll check to see what it says. Got an invoice number there. Click on it to take a look and make sure. Oh, hey, look at that. We got lucky. There is our copy of the invoice, so we just need to download it. We're going to put it in our claim folder, and that will give us the cost. You always also want to check that you're getting the very latest invoice. This one is showing for 2024, so let's see if we can find a better one. Okay, so with a little bit more searching, I was able to find another invoice. This invoice actually has a bunch of stuff on it instead of just a couple of 18s. And on this one, it is actually showing the price for the outdoor at 226. The other one had it at 225. So we're actually going to go with the invoice that shows a higher cost. It is a little bit more recent than the other one. So again, we're just going to download that and put it in our folder. Should say we already have a copy because I already downloaded it, so just download it again. Now that we have the cost of the unit, we can go over here and put that. It's $226.80, I'm pretty sure. Where are you at? Yeah, $226.80 was our price. So we put that in our notes. Also, you'll want to hit Control S often. That just saves it. If you see a little star up there, see a little star, it means the file has not been saved. So I just hit Control S. It'll save it real quick. Now we need to get our shipping cost. That you will have to send an email to Shannon. We do not get the invoices by default, and when we need to file a claim, we have to have those. So she is the only one that can get it for us. Just send a new email, send it over to sales, and check. It was Estes. So Estes invoice. Send her an email asking for that. We do need to make sure that we put the tracking number in here. That's where that comes in, very important. Alright, so a lot of times if you can't find the invoice in the emails and you have to send the email over to Shannon, she'll come back and say they haven't got the invoice yet. Boss always wants us to file the claim as soon as possible, the minute we get the information on it. So we're going to have to go ahead and send in the claim without the invoice. But we also still need to know what the shipping cost was. So if we don't have an invoice from Estes showing the actual shipping cost, then we'll go find the order in wherever it may be and use the shipping quote instead of the actual invoice. So the shipping quote here shows $403.56. We'll toss that in our notes. Make it look all nice and pretty, and then we'll do our total here, which should be 630.36. Pull out our calculator real quick just to double check that. Let's see, 226.80 plus 403.56, 630.36. So we're good on that. Go back, Control S to save it again, and then we're pretty much ready to go ahead and file the claim. Actually, one other thing, since we're going to be using the quote instead of the invoice, we can make a copy of that quote. Come on, computer. Copy. Go back over here to our claims folder, open shipping claims, our North Carolina transfer, paste that into the folder, and that way we have something to upload for them.